Good morning and welcome to this edition of Purpose Amplified. I'm your host, Anh Nguyen, and I'm so excited to have my next guest on today. But I wanted to share a little bit with you about why I launched Purpose Amplified last year if you've not been following the show. I have long held a firm belief that we all have some kind of purpose or greater calling that brings joy to our lives, that not only helps to showcase our values and why we're here. And so I am so fortunate to come across individuals and organizations who are doing this very thing, amplifying their purpose. And so I launched Purpose Amplified, and as a way to honor my dad as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about his legacy on another episode. But today, I'm so excited to have Tracee Seals, who is the Executive Director of DisruptGives on the show, and feature what it is that DisruptGives is doing for Houston, and hopefully, maybe eventually for other communities throughout the country. Welcome, Tracee.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be on Purpose Amplified and also learning more about why you started Purpose Amplified and sharing with the audience what I do at DisruptGives.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you. Shout out to Bridget Holden, who is your PR consultant who helped connect us. And so, Tracee, I'd love for you to introduce yourself briefly to the audience, and welcome to anyone who's tuning in. Please feel free to drop a comment or a question as we are discussing DisruptGives today and what it is that you do. But I'd love for you to introduce yourself briefly to the audience.
Absolutely. So, Tracee Seals, Foundation Director for DisruptGives. Little short story about me. I was looking for a pathway to give back to individuals. I started off in healthcare, went on to education, but I still hadn't found that connection with my community. And I came across opportunity to be an education coordinator for a nonprofit, a healthcare-related nonprofit, which has set me on my trajectory for community servant work. And here we are today.
Awesome. And so during COVID, I know that there were many families who were facing eviction, facing losing their homes because, as we all know, COVID disrupted so many things, not only our lives, but work and business, and companies were having to let people go. And so families were facing homelessness, essentially. And I think that's where DisruptGives came around, or I know that's how it came around, but would you share a little bit about the founding of DisruptGives and a little bit about the founders?
Absolutely. So DisruptGives was started in 2020 by our founders of Disrupt Equity Partners, who are the creators or curators of our multifamily living properties. In 2020, during the COVID pandemic, they saw that individuals were just not getting the relief that they were supposed to get from the federal government as well as from the state side. And they just wanted to do something to give back to just not their residents, but other individuals within the community. So that's where DisruptGives started from. It was so the founders are Ferris, Musa, and Ben Suttles. These are two tech guys that came together. They wanted to start multifamily living communities. Right now, we have about 26 in our portfolio between Texas, Florida, Georgia. And they were like, look, we got to do something to give back. And they birthed this wonderful foundation. And that's what we do. We give back to just not our communities, but outside of our community as well, because they saw that housing instability was something that we had to basically disrupt, if you will.
I love that. I love that they saw that there was a need and decided to do something. And this is exactly why I started this show, was to show that we as individuals can see a need and do something about it. And we don't have to wait around for someone else to do something about it, because if not us, then who, right?
Exactly.
I love that they took that need, and the fact that they were already in the industry and saw the effects of COVID and the effects that it had on families about to lose their homes and wanted to do more than just be a company that makes a profit from their property holdings. I absolutely love that. And so DisruptGives was founded, and you started working with families for rental assistance. And how does that process look for families?
Absolutely. So the initial thought was to help individuals in our multifamily communities with rental assistance that fell on hard time. Maybe they had a transition, maybe they had a life event, but they were not able to, pay their rent. So the rental assistance program came about to do that. But then the other component was making sure that individuals were getting on the trajectory for financial stability. So how do we do that? We incorporate financial literacy. But then when I came to the foundation, I want to escalate and also streamline that approach for stability. And what that looked like for me was just not paying, doing the rental assistance and financial literacy courses and workshops, but also getting them on the streamlining for stability and within the whole dynamic of the family. So we have incorporated workforce developments. And what the workforce development piece is, if individuals maybe are looking for a career change, maybe individuals have been outsourced from their job. So partnering with other community partners, taking them through trainings, having them to get another skill set to go back into the workforce. And then the other component is tapping into our older adults, our elderly residents. Maybe they can't see very well. Maybe they're not just as computer literate as individuals. So bringing in that adult literacy component to help them with basic digital literacy, how to work a computer, how to do coursework on a computer as well. And then finally, having individuals to do a self-assessment. And what that self-assessment looks like is identifying your strength and your weakness of your finances. And that way, if you can identify your strengths and your weaknesses, these are some things that we can implement tools to help you to be better at managing your budget and putting you on that straight trajectory for financial stability that's going to put you on a pathway to prevent housing instability in the future.
I absolutely appreciate that it's a very, holistic approach to helping a family. It reminds me of that adage, give a man a fish and he eats for a day, and teach a man to fish and he eats every day or for always, however that adage. For a lifetime. Thank you. But that's what it makes me think of. And I absolutely appreciate that you all have added those components, because you're right. Rental assistance is probably a very temporary solution for something that is a larger issue for many families who are living in rental properties. And the fact that you're able to offer the financial literacy workshops and help them to really take a look at their finances and assess, and then to also partner with workforce development organizations to offer that additional training for career opportunities that could help them on the path of financial freedom. I love it. It's
exactly
a holistic approach.
Exactly. And it's very personal for me. Some years ago, I moved back to Texas from living on the East Coast, and the job I had closed down all of its institutions. So that's why I had to move back home. And when I moved back home, it was either go back to my former career or go into a new career path. And I was kind of juggling what is I'm going to do. So I'm like, working part-time as a an adjunct instructor, and and you're kind of just, it's like a lottery. If a course comes about, you get that coursework, but if it doesn't, if you don't have money saved up, or if you're not independently wealthy or have a family trust, what do you do?
Yeah.
And I found myself on the receiving end of having to get rental assistance and applying for it. And one of the things I want to make sure as as our clients are applying for rental assistance, how do I make it easy for them? Because I remember when I applied for rental assistance, it was such a long, dragging process. You had to go get interviewed, and you got interviewed. You may or may not have gotten an approval. You might have gotten a denial, and then you have to go to the next agency, and then the next agency, and the component about it, it takes a toll on a person's mental health.
It does. I agree. And thank you for sharing your personal experience with needing to apply for assistance yourself. And absolutely, you touched on a really good point there, that even though the assistance may be available through government agencies or city agencies, it is often a very taxing process to apply, and it can take a toll on you emotionally. And you already feel like you're down and you don't need that additional toll. So how's your program then different for those who need that assistance, who need to apply for it?
So with our program, they go to our website, and this is where we really hone in on the relationship that we have with our apartment communities to help us with the vetting process, because they know their residents. I don't know the residents. I know our communities, but I know our residents, because if you think about 26 apartment communities, we're talking about at least 100,000 individuals in within 26 apartment communities. So when they go to our website, we take them through 3 phases. Phase 1 is going over a financial literacy course and understanding financial literacy. Phase 2 is taking the self-assessment. And then phase 3 is completing the application. And once I get all of these in, and they have, and a lot of them are referred to the program by their apartment communities.
Yeah.
So once I get the applications in, I'm sending over the list of names to the different properties, asking for their assistance with their communities. And then I send over the approval. They get a letter. They're happy. They're crying, because, some of the stories that we get from these residents are very, they tug on the heartstrings.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm not going to cry on your show.
No, don't make me cry.
they really tug on the heartstrings. And I never, I've worked in the nonprofit sector for some time now, dealing with social services, dealing on the healthcare side. And I'm such an empath when it comes to community service and being a servant leader. Just reading some of the reasons why individuals need assistance, it's like I'm reading, I'm trying to type, and I'm crying. And I'll share a story, one of the stories with you as well.
Yes. Please do. I would love to hear, I would love our audience to know and hear a story, not just to really hear about the impact, right? And a success story for who you serve, but the impact of what you do. And I can't even imagine reading these stories and how, I would be in tears every day.
Yes. And also how our program works, we provide rental assistance every other month. We have individuals apply, and we have anywhere from 20 to probably 40 individuals that apply every other month for our programming.
Oh, wow.
And then the other good thing, once they go through our programming and they get financially secure, they want to give back. They want to help someone else that needed rental assistance. For instance, one of the stories that I'll share with your audience, we had a husband and wife, and again, I'm not going to cry, but it's very emotional. They both are dealing with cancer. And, and it's kind of like the husband's taking care of the wife because she's more advanced stage than he is. So he's taking her to chemo. And he is also, going through treatment and stuff himself. And he's, he said, I never thought I'd be in this position, but here we are. And it's like, I just need help. He's like, with the medical bills and treatment, and him not being able to work, it's very overbearing. And I'm like, I got you.
Oh my gosh. And that points out to us that those who need this assistance are not people who are not working, there are a lot of different circumstances why people need assistance, right? As you mentioned, this couple that both have medical issues and both have cancer. There's, and I don't know the exact statistic, but what is it like? What or the majority of us are 1 to 2 paychecks away from losing our homes or losing our apartments or houses, because that's just unfortunately the way the economy works, and people are so behind on their finances or may not have that financial literacy that is needed. And so you were able to help this couple. And how long does that assistance typically last?
So it varies by case. So this individual, they were behind like 2 months. So we were able to take care of the 2 months. And then the one thing that we also do is we make sure that we waive their late charges or if there's attorney fees, we make sure we take care of those, because we want to, try to alleviate any stress that we can. So that's that's the whole project of it as well. And then I guess a success story would be, we had an individual who was out of work due to a medical issue as well. But she had some other things going on with her as well. So I was able to partner with other agencies that do food assistance, and also they have other programming that kind of wrap around services like healthcare, to point her into that direction as well. And she was able to not only get some food assistance, but she was also able to, she couldn't get to therapy. So we partnered with Ride so that they can actually pick her up and take her to therapy.
Awesome.
And then work with some of the food banks to also get her food assistance and food delivered to her, because she couldn't get out and about.
Wow. So DisruptGives truly is a holistic approach to assisting those in need, not only with just your core solution or service of rental assistance. I love that. And so any other organizations out there who are looking to partner with an organization like DisruptGives, reach out to Tracy for sure here on LinkedIn. And speaking of other organizations in the community as a whole, how can we support DisruptGives? How can we support your work? And are there any events coming up that we can possibly support?
Absolutely. So right now, we are in the middle of our back to school drive. So if you have any back to school supplies that you would like to donate to us, you can go to our website and go to our donation portal at www.disruptgives.com, and you could support us there. Our back to school drive started this month, and it's going to run to the end of the month. We'll do our back to school drive here in the Houston area on August the 2nd from 10 to 12 at 2 of our locations, one in Katy, the other in Cy-Fair. And again, after we just had Beryl, we're really needing those back to school items for parents, because they're kind of regrouping from dealing with unexpected expenses from Beryl. So we're really needing those back to school drives items. And then we also have an Amazon wish list too for the back to school items. And then next year, March 8th, 2025, we're having our first gala. So we would love to get individuals out to support us or partner with us at our gala. So those are some of our events that we have coming up. Oh, and then for National Nonprofit Day, August 17th, we're having a Dine and Donate event at California Pizza Kitchen at Memorial City. And who doesn't love pizza? So these are some of the ways that individuals can donate to us, as well as support our organization at this very moment.
I love it. And all of that information may be found on your website at disruptgives.com.
Right? Yes, and then they can follow us on our social media channels for any upcoming events that we have. And also, we on our website, we have a very, very great blog site that gives information to parents, to any individuals. So make sure you check out our blog to have up-to-date information and also insightful information.
I love it. And I'm looking forward to your gala. I love galas. So
yes, you have to come to our gala. It's going to be amazing. It is Venice in the city. So it is kind of Venice Carnival themed.
Oh, how fun.
Masks are optional.
Oh, that sounds so fun. I'm excited. I'll definitely save the date. It's in my calendar already, March 8th. And then I was going to ask you how Beryl had affected your efforts and if there were more assistance requests than usual because of the hurricane.
Yeah, so because of unexpected expenses, individuals had to pay for hotel rooms, being without power, replacing items. We're not waiting on FEMA. We're dealing directly and helping our residents right now. So we were able to get ice to some of our communities, work with other agencies to get water, food distribution, and also one of our partner communities, because they had just dealt with an outage that was not our fault or their fault, or even of a national disaster. So those individuals at that particular apartment community, they were able to get $1,000 off of their rent to kind of help them. So yeah, we had a little bit of an uptick of rental assistance right now. And again, one of our individuals too had experienced an apartment fire. So yeah, we're able to help them as well.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm sure that they were so thankful that DisruptGives was there to be able to offer this assistance. And so to support your work, you are looking for probably individual donors, corporate donors, any other kind of partners who could support you financially.
Absolutely. We are really on a mission to increase our individual donors because our corporate partners that we have, they're looking to see how many individual donors. So that's one of the things that we're looking for: individual donors, essentially more corporate partner donors. And the one thing I want to say for anyone that partners with us that is a corporate partner, we have volunteer opportunities within our organization, especially at any of our community focused events. So those volunteer opportunities are here. We'll help you, meet your KPIs and your metrics. But we also want to make sure that we're showing you that we're a good partner. And I think that's the most impactful thing that we can do for our corporate partners.
Absolutely, I agree. And having served on the board of a couple of nonprofits myself, that volunteer opportunity and having that for your corporate partners is so important and so impactful too for their employees, for the corporation as a whole. And you've gained awareness for your organization with a whole other community within their company. So anybody out there who can help support this or who's got volunteer initiatives for your employees, reach out to Tracy. And of course, all the information can be found on DisruptGives.com. What's the average individual donation look like for your organization, and how does that help towards assistance for those you're serving?
Absolutely. So the average individual donation, I would say, is about like $150. But that $150 contributes towards someone's rent. It also contributes to other items that we have, like for our back to school drive. $150 can purchase probably 40 backpacks.
Oh, absolutely. With your resources and being able to get more bang for your buck through the organization. And $150 is what people spend that on lunch in a week, right?
Yes.
And so I mean, to be able to have that kind of impact for a family is, I think, an easy ask or easy give. So absolutely, I love everything that you all have done, and I'm really appreciative to Bridget for introducing me and connecting me with you.
Bridget is wonderful. She is wonderful.
She is. Shout out to Bridget. And so if you would like to learn more as you're tuning into this conversation, if you're catching the replay, don't forget to go to DisruptGives.com. Also, DisruptGives is on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I think I've caught all that. And then I think Twitter as well, or X as it's called now. Do you have a YouTube channel?
We do have a YouTube channel, so they can find us on YouTube if they just type in DisruptGives.
Absolutely. And connect with them and then learn more, because there's a great blog on the website, as Tracy mentioned. And then save the date. There's a huge event coming up August 2nd. If that is your big back to school donation gathering event. And that also can be found on DisruptGives.com. And feel free, of course, to connect with Tracee here on LinkedIn, right? I've got
absolutely.
Yes, I've got the link in the comments for to connect with Tracee. And thank you so much for being on today. I really am just really glad and appreciative of having met you and connected with DisruptGives and learning more about what it is you're doing for Houston. Any plans on expanding this program into other parts of the country? I know Disrupt Equity has properties in different areas and not just in Houston.
Absolutely. So our rental leave program actually is at throughout Texas. So we're in Houston, Porter, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. We're also in Daytona, Florida, and we're in Georgia as well with our multifamily living properties. And these are also where they can receive our rental relief as well within those states.
Oh, I love it. You've just started a movement across all these different areas, and I look forward to your continued growth and seeing what else you can do to help build those sustainable communities and cities.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and we, like I said earlier in the conversation, we welcome other nonprofits to partner with us because we can't all do this work by ourselves. And, you know, they have resources that we don't have, and we have resources that they don't have. And everything is better with collaboration, I think.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that that is so important for organizations to collaborate and connect with one another. And I love that you said that. And on that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Every one of you are catching the replay. Please feel free to drop a comment or a question. Definitely connect with Tracee and DisruptGives. Learn more at DisruptGives.com. And until the next time, everyone, enjoy your afternoon. Go out there and see how you can amplify your purpose. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.